Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Today we're looking at the Boar. So this is one of the first vehicles that we have from 1987, which is when it was released here domestically in the United States. It was also sold in 1988 and unfortunately discontinued in 1989. So looking here at yojo.com, we have some wonderful front view, and we got a rear view, and there's not a lot in there. It's just barely wide enough for a figure to sit in there. And of course, we have this nice kind of buzzing wheel on there, um, just to kind of dig in, catch the ground, and go from there. We do have some missiles on one side and some cannons on the other. So a simplistic design, uh, a nice quick attack vehicle, uh, trying to come up with a different form of trying to go after GI Joe from the Cobra's perspective. And here we are, nice front cover with the door open a little bit as they're kind of shooting away at GI Joe. I think it's going to be an interesting way of trying to see with all this, but trying to keep the driver safe on the inside here is always a plus as we look through. And of course, now we have our schematics. So, um, as always, it's a little difficult for me to read these the greatest. I can read some of it. So, looking at the missiles here, we do have, if I can see it correctly, like looks like 8 here. So we have DAO, Destro anti-obstacle um, side launch missiles, and on the other side, it looks like that is our 6. So we had layered 50 cal um, dual repeating machine guns. So we have 50 caliber machine guns on one side and some um, anti-obstacle missiles on the other. So uh, kind of rounds it out. It's another interesting take as far as vehicles go. Easily broken and or lost pieces. We have the machine guns and missiles of the Cobra Buzzbore are unfortunately easily lost. So we do have a Nintendo game that we have this on here, and um, apparently here's another version of that same Nintendo Capcom game, and here's our commercial spot. Regrettably, we don't see a instance where this is in any of the cartoons themselves. Not saying it doesn't exist. At least we don't have any instances of it being shown to us, and I can't think of it being shown. I think it was just created for a vehicle to throw out there. The price wise, though, looking at it, it went for $2.39. So a very inexpensive vehicle for the time. Um, Especially when we look at it in today's light. But they're again taken into inflation and all that. I don't know what that would sit at today. So when we look at the Buzzbore here, I put it at speeder scale. I figured, vehicle scale would be our speeder here. Taking a wild stab in the dark on a vehicle like this, I really don't know how long it's going to be. So I did call it about 10 feet long, so about 3 meters. Gave it a crew of one, no passengers for obvious reasons. I don't know where you're going to be able to put a foothold on here. Um, I gave it a cargo capacity of about 25 kilograms, which comes out to being about 55 pounds. Give it a full coverage because it does look like you're going to be well covered inside there. It's, of course, going to be ground altitude or ground level. I give it a maneuverability of 3D. I think it might be fairly maneuverable. Um, And I mentioned in one of the last videos, you know, I gave it a speed of roughly about 40 miles an hour or 64 kilometers per hour. A lot of the times when you have a military vehicle, they're governed to be roughly about that speed. I figured something like this, it might be at that speed as well. Now, I don't have any instance to say what speed it should go. So um, I'll just say if you think it needs to go faster, by all means, put it faster. but not knowing what it should go, I think that 40 miles an hour should be pretty respectable for that. So I'm just throwing it out there that way. Okay, I give it a body strength of 2D. Um, I figured it's just going to be an average body strength. It's kind of an experimental thing. Um, we'll just see how it goes. And because I'm treating this much like the cartoon, I gave it a dual light repeating blaster. And it's fire linked. So it's at personnel scale at 7D damage. Has a fire control of 1D, thinking that the aiming going off of just where the vehicle is may not be the best. I figure 7D is going to be pretty good. Uh, so just kind of going off of that. And then I did add in the two ADO missiles. Um, Oops, and I kind of goofed up on this one. Um, it's not supposed to be rear, it's supposed to be front. So that's on me. Okay, so it is front. Uh, Personnel scale. These are smaller missiles. I figured it's going to be another anti-personnel vehicle. That wheel there is going to be very intimidating. So I fear we'll go off of that. Fire control. I figured the missiles themselves might be maybe a little bit of a heat guided or something like that. So I gave it a 2D and 7D damage. So kind of figuring it's another one of those vehicles that as they're coming up with different ideas, this might be a replacement for the ferret or something like that. So looking at it in those regards, keeping it about the same speed, but now you're fully covered instead of being kind of out in the open. We have the repeating blasters, and then the missiles. I think that kind of balances it out. So that's where I feel it works out pretty well. Right or wrong, hey, let me know. Uh, but I think it's pretty good, and we'll just go with it. Um, yeah. All right. Well, with that, it's fun bringing this to you. It's fun coming up with the ideas of where do we think a vehicle like this is really going to fit. As we're getting on in years, are we going to retire something and put this in its place and all that? Which is kind of what I'm kind of looking at it in a way. So there again, whether you want to say maybe the ferret's going to be used in a lot of regards, but maybe one group is going to use the Boar or something like that. Um, Maybe Destro for his personal legion of troops are going to use the Boar, or maybe it's going to be somebody else. One way or the other. It just throws something out there. And like I said, if you feel that it would be a replacement for something, it makes a lot of sense. We're kind of coming up with a different idea, right? So, hope you enjoyed this series. Hope you have a wonderful day, and we'll see you in the next video.